We're back for our daily NBA best bets here on Thursday, January 15th. We've got games throughout the day today in the NBA. Yes, an early game today in the association because we've got a Germany game today between the Memphis Grizzlies and the Orlando Magic. First of two Germany games between these two teams. We're going to get another one on Sunday at 9 in the morning. But first, 11 a.m. Thursday basketball, standalone game. Oh, we're all watching. We're all watching, not because we're too locked in with the Grizzlies or the Magic, even though I've been high on the Grizzlies for a while, at least as a underdog team for quite a bit this season. But there's a reason we're watching today, so better make the best of it. We're gonna have obviously a bet for that Germany game in Berlin between the Grizz and the Magic in a minute. But folks, before we get into the video, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for some more daily NBA best bets here on the channel. Earlier today, we posted our college basketball best bets, so go make sure to check that out if you have not yet. Also on the channel, our NFL predictions for the divisional round of the playoffs, and then tomorrow we're gonna have our best bets for the divisional round as well, so make sure to join us for that, along with our college football national championship game predictions. Those were posted yesterday between obviously the Miami Hurricanes and the Indiana Hoosiers, the two teams we called back in August to be in the Natty, Miami and Indiana. It's coming through Monday. We have our predictions obviously up for the national championship, again, between the Hurricanes and the Hoosiers. And tomorrow on Greedo Plays MMA, we are back. UFC 324, the first ever UFC card on Paramount. Justin Gaethje, Paddy Pimblett main event. We're back. Greedo Plays MMA tomorrow for our full predictions on that card. Okay, on now to the first of our 5 best bets today for the NBA, kicking things off in that aforementioned Berlin-Germany game between the Memphis Grizzlies and the Orlando Magic. Memphis plus 4.5 is the play to kick off the day. I'm going Memphis on the road to cover the points. It's an Amazon Prime game. I know the major reason why, well, I believe it's the biggest reason that the NBA's in Germany is because of the Wagners. They're both from Germany, if I'm not mistaken. I don't believe, I could be wrong. I don't think there's a German player on the Grizzlies. I could be tripping here, but I don't believe Aldama's not German, right? Unless Santi Aldama is from Germany or John Konchar is from Germany, and I don't think either of them are, I don't think there's another German player on the court tonight. But regardless, the reason they're there is because of the Wagners. You've seen the NBA post quite a bit about the Wagners being in Germany, being back in Germany for this game. Okay, Konchar is from West Chicago, Illinois, so he's definitely not German. And I'm going to check. I don't think Aldama's from America. Maybe he is. He's from Spain, so there's the closest relation. I know he went to Loyola, Maryland, of all places, oddly enough, and it was a first-round pick out of the Greyhounds. But anyways, so I guess the closest player to Germany for the Grizzlies is Santi Aldama, and obviously you got the Wagners over with the Orlando Magic. I'm going to go with the Grizz to cover the 4.5 points. Guys, let's think about this. This is going to be a very odd basketball game. It's going to be. This is going to be a very odd game. It's in Germany. It's obviously early for us, but out there, I assume it's on prime time, or it's in prime time in Germany, or at least close to it. I believe this game is probably starting around like 5-ish, I think. Just trying to think of like the scheduling of when the UFC does cards over in Europe. They don't do cards in Germany, but like when they do cards in England, usually this is about, I think, 5 o'clock German time. I could be wrong, but it's going to be a relative evening game over there in Berlin. But you got to think of the weirdness of this game, though, right? You're in Germany. It's the first of 2 back-to-back games that both these teams are playing in Germany against each other, but I just think it's going to be tough for either of these teams to get away from each other. And the Magic have struggled to do so for most of the season. And that's just getting away from teams and dominating. The Orlando Magic play a lot of tightly knit games. And that's obviously a philosophy change and a mindset change that they had in the offseason as Orlando went from one of the best and top 5 defensive teams in all of the NBA to a middle-of-the-pack 15th ranked defensive team in 2025 and 2026. They just struggle to get away from teams. And another big deal going into this one, obviously we talked about the Wagners, Mo and Franz. Franz Wagner's playing tonight. Franz Wagner has not played since his injury he suffered in that Knicks game on the road in the Garden back on December 7th. So it's been 5 weeks, over 5 weeks, since Franz Wagner's last played a game. He returns tonight. We've seen how Orlando's managed injuries throughout the season, the biggest one being Paolo Banchero. When Banchero came back, he was on a strict 20-minute deadline and 20 minutes restriction. I know the game's in Germany, and Wagner likely, again, pushed to get back for this game, and I know the NBA and the Magic probably want Wagner to play quite a bit as well, but you got to realize this is their face of the franchise alongside Banchero. They're not going to push him that much. I think he's going to be set on, again, a hard 20-minute limit. Expect to see Mo Wagner play too. I know Mo Wagner hasn't played much at all this year, obviously due to injury. Came back in their last game against the New Orleans Pelicans. I believe is currently their 3rd string center. Appears to be, I think Bitadze would still be above him in the depth chart. Regardless, I assume we're going to see some Wagner minutes, again, though, in a limited capacity. So this game won't be much about the Wagners, but it will be at the same time, if you get what I mean. Again, there was going to be a big emphasis and focus on the Wagners because the game's in Germany, but at the same time, they're not going to have the biggest impact on this game because they're both coming back from injury. Imagine if they weren't healthy for this game, either of them. And then you just have randomly Orlando and Memphis in Germany. I don't think there's anybody else in the Magic from Germany, right? I could be wrong, but I don't think anybody else is from Germany. Tristan da Silva is Brazilian, I think. No, he's definitely not from Germany, though. Oh, he is. I apologize. Why did I think he was Brazilian? Is the last name. Okay, so there's another reason. It's Tristan da Silva. My fault on that one. He went to Colorado. I didn't know where he was from. No, okay, he is Brazilian. So his nationality is, he's Brazilian, but he's from Germany? Or is he half Brazilian, he's half Brazilian, half German? There you go. He speaks 5 languages: German, Portuguese, Spanish, French, and English. Interesting. Okay, so there we go. That's why. Tristan da Silva is also from Germany. I just thought he was Brazilian. But anyways, Tristan da Silva has actually been playing well for the Magic recently. Here's the thing, though, guys. The Grizz are just here for another game. The Magic, it's a homecoming. You got 3 players from Germany. Again, I hope I'm not missing a random German player on the Grizz. Like, watch, like, Oliver Maxence Prosper is from Germany. Like, imagine that. He's Canadian, though. Regardless, right? Like, I don't think I'm missing a random German on the Grizzlies. I really don't think I am. Like, I find out that Jalen Wells is, like, half German. I don't think so. So, I'm taking the Grizzlies here. This is just another game for this team. And I know there's some stuff going on with John Morant, and there was that footage of him, and I think it was Vince Williams going back and forth a little bit when they got to Germany. I think they'll be okay in terms of, well, Ja's not playing. They don't got to worry about Ja. Ja's time in, with the Grizzlies quickly ending, and obviously he just made the trip out to Germany because he has to, but he's not going to play likely in either of these games. I still like the Grizz in the spot, man. This team has been such a good underdog all year long. When they get hot from beyond the arc, they get dangerous, and I think in a game like this, I think they can get hot from beyond the arc, man. It's a random neutral site game in Germany. It's just another matchup for the Grizzlies. For the Magic, this is a whole homecoming. You gotta manage with both the Wagners coming off of injury. Tristan da Silva got to make sure he gets his looks because the game's in Germany as well. Just another game for the Grizz. I think the Grizz get it done at plus 4.5. Do they win? I don't know. I can see a clutch victory for the Magic by like 2 points. But ultimately, I'm going to go with Memphis to cover the spread. Grizzlies plus 4.5 to kick off the day, and a game that's probably going to be way more viewed than it should be for reasons because it's the only game we can bet on early in the day. Give me the Grizz. On to our second best bet of the video, on now to the normal time games. It's time for the Boston Celtics to actually win a basketball game. However, I'm not going to take Boston Celtics money line today, okay? I'm just not going to do it. Ever since I have come on here and specifically stated the Celtics are going to win the East and bet on the Celtics to win the East, they have gone and lost 3 of 4. I still am remaining adamant, though, on that point. The Celtics are going to win the Eastern Conference. Why? Jason Tatum's coming back soon. So Tatum is quickly coming back. And wait till they trade for it. I like Neemias Queta, but wait till they trade for a center. Wait till they trade for some more depth. And they just start bringing in these random veterans. Oh, boy. Watch out for the Boston Celtics. And still, despite all this losing, look where Boston's at in the standings. Boston's still in 3rd. They're a game and a half behind New York, who just lost to the Kings last night. But I guess the Kings are beating everybody. They beat the Rockets, Lakers, and Knicks in 3 straight games. What's going on in Sacramento? Light the beam. They're going to make the play-in. No, they're not. But they're going to, you know what the Kings are doing? They're just going to screw themselves out of a good pick. It's so hilarious. Not like they were going to win the lottery anyway. Silver's not going to put a star in Sacramento. Anyways, Miami Heat, Boston Celtics tonight. Maybe the Celtics can finally win a basketball game. That'd be nice, eh? Doesn't matter for us, though, tonight. Well, it does for our season-long prop. But we're going to take Jaylen Brown tonight. We're going to take Jaylen Brown over 29.5 points. Time to put the team on your back, pal. Time to put the team on your back. You did not play the Indiana game. Obviously, Brown was very vocal about the refereeing in the San Antonio game in which Boston lost at home by 5 points. Joe Mazzulla felt like he got screwed with the illegal screen at the end of the game from Pascal Siakam in that matchup against the Pacers, and it was an illegal screen. Mazzulla was correct. He obviously does the post-game press conference, and they start asking him questions, and all Mazzulla says is, illegal screen. Oh, Joe, was that the ending that you thought was going to happen? Or did you get the right shot you wanted, in your final possession? Illegal screen. So I take it you thought that screen by Siakam was illegal. What do you think about that illegal screen? Was that the rotation you wanted on that, 5 minutes to go? Did you want Baylor Shireman kicking it over to the corner to Peyton Pritchard? Illegal screen. So that's just Joe Mazzulla. I know he was dead serious. It was kind of funny too. But Mazzulla, interesting guy. I think a pretty solid coach. But again, a very interesting human being. Regardless, though, I think, again, a good guy, though, for the most, from what I've seen. Anyways, I'm taking Jaylen Brown tonight. He's coming back. Has not played since Saturday. That was on the 10th against San Antonio. He has not gone over 30 points or 29 points in 2 straight games. But when Jaylen Brown is on, obviously he can be an elite hand. And I just think Boston is just in such need of a victory right now. I really think so. Losing 3 out of their last 4. Who are they going to go to in this game? Jaylen Brown. They are going to go to Jaylen Brown to get them buckets. And we've seen, again, Jaylen Brown is more than capable of scoring. How about the 50-point night against the Clippers? Scored 33 against Denver. I'm looking at this Miami team. I mean, it's a Heat squad. They're going to give up points. They just won a high-scoring affair the other night against the Phoenix Suns, winning 127-121. But teams, last 4 teams they've played, 5 of the last 6 teams Miami has played, teams have gotten into the 120s against them. Boston's going to do the same thing, and this is why, again, we like going to Jaylen Brown, and hell, we've done Peyton Pritchard player props earlier in the season as well. High-paced team, they take a lot of shots. They don't really burn the shot clock at all. They're going to work the ball down court, and they're going to take the first open look that they are given. And I just think with Jaylen Brown coming back in the lineup off of rest, he's not played in 5 days, I do believe he's going to have an explosive and a really good night. And again, in a situation where Boston just needs to get a victory. Not an easy game by any stretch of the imagination, right? This is a second game on a 4-game road trip for Boston. It started over in Indiana against the Pacers on Monday, Miami tonight, Atlanta on Saturday, and then they take on the Detroit Pistons to close the road trip on Monday on NBC on prime time before a game at home against Indiana, and then 2 more on the road with a random back-to-back against the Brooklyn Nets and the Chicago Bulls. But it's a game, again, that the Celtics just need to win. I think they're going to go to Jaylen Brown quite a bit. This is all dependent really on Jaylen Brown's 3-point shot because you know he's going to get those opportunities. Jaylen Brown is going to take anywhere. Well, it's the floor and the ceiling is just massive with Jaylen Brown in terms of, you know, the potential of shots he's going to take. But so far in the calendar year of 2026, in all but 1 game, Jaylen Brown's taken at least 6 threes, and in 3 of those games, he's taken at least 10 3-pointers. And obviously the best game that he had in the month and of the calendar year, obviously, in 2026 was that Clippers game where he went 18 of 26 shooting and 6 of 10 from beyond the arc and 50 points in total. But if we just get a game like he had against Denver, taking a high volume of shots, taking 29 of them against the Nuggets, going 4 for 6 from beyond the arc, scoring 33 points, we'll take that. Hell, his last game against San Antonio was great. Obviously, the officiating was not on the Celtics side. Hell, that is apparent, and you can just look at the stat line for Jaylen Brown. And obviously, Brown was very critical about the refs. He said he'd take the fine. I believe he had $35,000 deducted from his bank account because of his comments. But Jaylen Brown played 43 minutes, 11 for 28 from the field, 27 points, 5 for 11 from beyond the arc. How many free throws did he shoot? 0. I'm just telling you, man. Yeah, you take the fine, but now you kind of get the benefit of the doubt with some calls. So Jaylen Brown should be able to get to the free throw line, I think, at least 5 to 6 times tonight. That should bump his point total. I think we're going to see a really good night tonight out of Jaylen Brown. Really trying to push the Celtics across the finish line tonight in South Beach. Give me the Celtics and give me Jaylen Brown to go over 29.5 points on the road in Miami against the Miami Heat. On now to our third best bet of the video, we move to the biggest game of the day. You saw it in the thumbnail, the Oklahoma City Thunder taking on the Houston Rockets. I'm going to go OKC on the road -4. Guys, I don't trust the Rockets against anybody right now, and we have faded the Rockets in their last couple games for the right reasons. Watch the way that they've been playing. We've faded the Rockets in 4 straight games now, haven't I? Holy crap, I have. Yeah, we faded the Rockets 4 times in a row, and we have been successful in the last 4 games in which we have faded Houston. Going back to that first of 2 in Portland against the Blazers, we took Blazers spread on January 7th. That's, I guess, week and a day ago, 8 days ago in Portland. Blazers win the game by 1 point. Obviously, it was the tip-in that was just too late from Houston. We didn't really care because we had points on Portland. The win didn't really matter, but regardless, Portland wins the game outright. Then the next game in Portland between Houston and the Blazers. Blazers win the game by 6 points. We took Portland spread again. We said if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Next game for the Rockets, they go to Sacramento. We took Kings plus 12.5, was it? Plus 13.5. Kings don't just cover that. No, they win, and they actually cover their own spread. They win the game by 13 points themselves. Anyways, Sacramento, I guess it's not as bad of a loss anymore. Sacramento then goes on to beat the Lakers and beat the Knicks, just like we talked about earlier. Anyways, Houston's last game, we took Bulls spread. It was plus 13 or plus 12.5 for Chicago going to Houston. And sure, a short-handed Chicago team without Josh Giddey, without Kobe White. Yet, the Bulls still go into Houston, put up a fight, are competitive through 3.5 quarters. Ultimately, the Rockets pull away, but the Bulls only lose the game by 6 points. So there you have it. The Rockets in 4 straight games have not covered the spread, and I don't think they're going to do so tonight, as they find themselves, obviously, as home dogs. I just want to put this out there, too. I mean, if I want to go to a game around here, I mean, I drove to Sacramento to watch LeBron James and the Lakers. Obviously, that was a, hefty price. But if I want to go watch a Warriors game, which, by the way, I've only done once at Chase Center. I've still been to more games at Oracle, and that place has been shut down for almost a decade at this point, like half a decade at this point now, but you know what I mean. I've only been to one game at Chase Center because they're absurdly expensive. To get in the building, you got to pay usually at least $100 to sit at the very top behind the basket. They're horrible seats. Watching Rockets and OKC in Houston tonight, $20 to get in the building. Are we dead ass? I understand it's Texas, but I mean, guys, if I want to watch the Washington Wizards play the Warriors, I gotta pay $100 to get in the building to watch a crap Warriors team. It's absurd. Anyways, I mean, I watched Thunder Warriors last year in San Francisco. I'll tell you what, I didn't pay $23 to watch that game. It's the only Warriors game I've been to so far at Chase. I've been to more wrestling shows at Chase, the same amount of wrestling shows at Chase than I have watching the Warriors. Like, it's absurd. Anyways, Rockets Thunder tonight. Yeah, give me OKC 100%. Yeah, we're back on the OKC glaze for good reason. I mean, I'll tell you this. I'm not picking against this team for the rest of the year. That's a result of that Spurs game. We're not picking against them ever again. And I think I haven't really picked against. I think I've picked against the Thunder twice all year long. The Indiana game earlier in the season. Obviously the first game of the year for the Pacers, and second game of the year for the Thunder, and then the San Antonio game just 2 nights ago. I'm done. If you want, hey, best value to win the NBA championship right now is plus 115 on the Thunder, or plus 120, whatever it's at right now. By far, the best value for any team to win the NBA championship. Because I'll keep saying this, no team's beaten this team 4 times in a 7-game series. Barring an injury to Shea, which, knock on wood, it doesn't happen. I don't think it's going to happen. This team's not losing. They're not losing a 7-game series. We're going to have some interesting narratives being spread at the end of the season, but believe you me, at the end of the year, the Thunder are going to cakewalk themselves into a championship, and we're going to have those discussions. Was this the easiest path to an NBA championship ever? And we're going to have the discussion as well, just how good was Tyrese Halliburton last season to push this team to 7, and should have beaten this team in 7 if unfortunately, his Achilles doesn't pop. Anyways, OKC tonight against Houston. Yeah, do you trust this Rockets team right now? Nope. You know what the Thunder needed? They needed to lose those games to Phoenix and Charlotte. They needed to, need 46 points out of SGA at home to beat the Jazz by 4 points in overtime, and an SGA game-tying shot to send the game into overtime. They needed a come-from-behind victory in Memphis, Tennessee against the Grizzlies, in which Shea didn't play, but they needed a J-Dub-led comeback. They needed a win over the Heat, where SGA returns, and then they needed to finally beat the San Antonio Spurs, not losing a 4th straight game against San Antonio, finally getting it done, and getting it done in dominant fashion. That's what OKC needed to get back on track. And I'll tell you this, they are back on track. And I think there is going to be discussion about how their normal starting 5 still doesn't win a game this year. Shea, Lou Dort, J-Dub, Chet, Hartenstein. Someone's just been injured throughout most of the season. That started with J-Dub, then it became Chet, it was J-Dub, then it became Lou Dort for a couple games, and then Hartenstein's now out. What they're doing right now is working by just playing multiple guards, obviously with Kaysen and Shea on the court at the same time. Not saying they should bench Hartenstein, but if that starting 5 continues to struggle when Hartenstein comes back, I'm sorry, I think Isaiah Hartenstein's the guy who gets bumped out of that. And we think, obviously, for the future, Hartenstein's probably the guy that gets bumped out of the lineup eventually anyways. If they either tried to land a big free agent because there's money revolving around Hartenstein, or they get a top draft pick, then yeah, Hartenstein's the guy who gets bumped to the bench or just gets bumped off of the team. Anyways, tonight I got to go OKC. Do you trust the Rockets to beat anybody right now? Do you trust the Rockets to cover against anybody right now? No. They're playing in front of nobody, by the way, which, KD disputes, but it's true. No DFS tonight, no Tari Eason. They're injured going into this one. Şengün's back, obviously, but they haven't really done much with Şengün since he's been back. I understand, again, they won the other night, but in not great fashion against Chicago. I got to go OKC here. Best team in the NBA, by far. They are fully back after taking those back-to-back L's against Charlotte and Phoenix. Obviously, they're not breaking the wins record this season, but this is a team that's just looking now to be, obviously, the best team they can possibly be going into the postseason, and yeah, this team's winning it all. OKC on the road beats the Houston Rockets and covers the 4 points as well. Give me the Thunder. On now to our 4th best bet of the video. We move to another money line play. We're going to finish the video with the player prop. Dallas Mavericks taking on the Utah Jazz. I'm going to go with Dallas plus 100 at home. I fully understand Cooper Flag is likely not playing this game. Cooper Flag did not return after an injury yesterday against the Denver Nuggets, did not come out, obviously, for the second half, had an ankle injury. We are obviously not expecting Flag to play today. He's not going to play the second night of a back-to-back after suffering an injury. I don't think it's going to be a long-term thing. I think it's very likely, honestly, that Flag will be back for the next Utah game on Saturday. If not, definitely back on Monday night on NBC on primetime in the Garden against the New York Knicks, obviously in Flag's first ever matchup against the Knicks. But tonight, the Mavericks are obviously going to be without their two best players. Four best players, my goodness. Five best players. Anthony Davis, Kyrie Irving. Obviously, we've known Kyrie's out, but AD, Kyrie, Cooper Flag, Gafford got hurt last game, so probably not him tonight, and Lively. Yeah, the five best guys aren't playing tonight. So we'll see if Gafford plays. I don't think he's going to. Right ankle sprain, just the way that we know the NBA and how teams operate in the NBA, Gafford's not going to come back on a second night of a back-to-back, especially for a Dallas team that's not trying to win. But trust me, we'll talk about a team that's not trying to win either, so hold on. Dallas will have Max Christie likely back today. Did not play yesterday due to an illness. I have to imagine he's going to play tonight, given the opportunity that's going to present itself for him tonight. I'll tell you what, expect a lot of Najee Marshall tonight, expect a lot of PJ Washington, expect a lot of Ryan Nembhard. This feels like a random good Clay game too. I don't know. Clay missed a big three yesterday in that Denver game. I think, oh God, they were down 8 points, I think, and the Clay three could have got them down to 5. That was the closest they got to coming back in that one. Obviously, we had Denver yesterday, and that was a sweat-free one, but the Mavs did make their one comeback late in the third quarter and early in the fourth, and the closest they got, I think, was 8 points. It might have been 7, and Clay had a wide-open three in the corner, and he just bricked it. And if he hits that, okay, likely you force a timeout from Denver, and that maybe changes the rest of the course of the game. But then Clay misses. I think it was Tim Hardaway hits a three on the other side, makes it now a 10-point, 11-point game, and then obviously Denver just controlled it from there on out. Mavs made their late game attempt, but obviously it was just over by then. This feels just like a random really good Klay Thompson day for some reason. I don't know why. Playing Utah, a team that doesn't play the best defense, and a Utah team, again, let's talk about them, who just played yesterday against Chicago. It's the second night of a back-to-back. Let me take a wild guess if they're going to try to win this game. No, okay? We know how the Jazz operate. Laurie yesterday randomly gets ruled out due to an illness. Big shocker. It helped us, obviously. The big shocker. I mean, someone seriously needs to investigate this team. Either this team has the worst training staff imaginable, or, there's just an illness going around the Utah Jazz all the time, or they're tanking. I think it's the latter. I think they're tanking. But anyways, Lauri Markkanen doesn't play. Vucevic hits a putback layup. Kobe White misses. Vucevic puts it back up. Wins the game ultimately for the Chicago Bulls at home on a second night of a back-to-back. So the Jazz made sure, we can't win this game. Lauri, you're sick now, pal. Start coughing. Lauri, you're hurt. Okay, nope. You don't get to play your former team tonight. No, sir. Yeah, Bryce Sensabaugh drops 43 points for the Utah Jazz. Again, I have no issue with the players in the Jazz. I think Sensabaugh is great. This is a former Utah Ute, right? I'm pretty sure Sensabaugh is at Utah. Yeah, it's before I was really locked in on college basketball like I am now. But this is a player. No, he's at Ohio State. I'm tripping. Oh, my goodness. Why did I think he was at Utah? Because he plays in the Jazz. Did he not, No, he was definitely an Ohio State guy. Yeah, he was definitely an Ohio State guy. Anyways, that's bad on my end. Regardless, Sensabaugh, always known he's been great. Again, the potential we saw in that game where he played against Charlotte, the one against the Thunder, he was good. The Clippers game, he was all right. I've always liked Bryce Sensabaugh. He's going to pick up a random injury now. It's the second night of a back-to-back, guys. Just expect random injuries right now for the Jazz. I'm recording this video at 1 in the morning. There are no injuries as of yet on the injury report for Utah, but we know they're coming. It happens every game for the Jazz. These random injuries just pop up, and are they going to play Nurkic on a second night of a back-to-back? Likely not. Mikhailuk, probably an injury. Ace Bailey's been injured before. Okay, you're injured again now, pal. Go get some rest. I don't think they're going to play many of these guys. Right now, the odds are, plus 100 for the Mavs at home. I understand they're very hurt. They're without, again, we said it, their 5 best players aren't playing tonight. Don't expect the Jazz to play their best guys. Guys, the Jazz, they are actively trying to lose. There's not a clearer tank operation than what the Utah Jazz are doing this season, and what they've been doing for the last 3 seasons since they traded Donovan Mitchell and got rid of Rudy Gobert. It hasn't been more apparent, any team in the league. They're purely trying to lose games. So don't expect them to win this one. I would imagine they're probably gonna they'll play Keontae, they'll play Sensabaugh, but everyone else around them won't be playing. So expect no Mikhailuk, no Bailey, no Yusef Nurkic. It's the second night of a back-to-back, and they can get away with it because they can say, our guys are kind of banged up. We need to rest them. We don't want to play them on a second night of a back-to-back, so they can kind of get away with this thing. Dallas is going to be short-handed as well. I still think the Mavs get this done. The guys, both these teams are in second nights of back-to-backs. Dallas played at home last night. Utah was all the way up in Chicago. Not a far trip, in all fairness, from Chicago to Dallas, but it's 2-hour flight. I've done that flight before. Well, I did to Indianapolis, but regardless, I went Dallas to Indy, but same thing almost, right? Not that far. But Indy to Chicago is like a 30-minute flight. Regardless, right? Not a far flight, but still, you got to travel. Dallas has been at home here, and guys, I can't expect the Jazz to win a basketball game. They beat the Cavs, and what did I say after that? This team's being punished for beating the Cavaliers. They don't want to win. Give me Dallas at home. Mavericks win plus 100. Expect this to become about even, likely by tip-off. Just when the Jazz, now their influx of injuries come in. Maybe Laurie will be healthy today. Who knows? Let's move on to our final best bet of the video. We move on to the nightcap, 7:30 game. Shocker, Los Angeles Lakers. Still banned on the money line. Still banned until AR comes back. We're slowly getting there, though, and the Lakers are slowly but surely getting healthy. Rui Hachimura has returned. He was active for the Sacramento Kings game that obviously I attended, and I was disgusted to be a Los Angeles Lakers fan watching that game in Sac. I feel a little bit better, though, that the Kings just beat the Knicks. Anyways, though, Hachimura was active for the Kings game, doesn't plays in the second night of a back-to-back against the Atlanta Hawks, and only scores 7 points, but still the Lakers look much better. Everything just was a better operation in that game against Atlanta, scoring 141 points. That was something. Now, I don't love, and again, we'll get into the game in a second, I don't love the off-the-court stuff that's going on with Los Angeles, and obviously I'm talking about Rich Paul, LeBron James's agent, saying he would trade Austin Reeves for Jaren Jackson. You would? Would you now? You would trade Austin Reeves for Jaren Jackson Jr. Okay, yeah. Let's trade a guy who averages 27 points per game for Jaren Jackson. Are we serious? Yeah, the Lakers need a center, but I hate to say this, and I love LeBron more than anybody else. I really do. I'm a big LeBron fan. The fix to the Lakers is LeBron retires, and now we can bring in a big. With the money we have right now, we can't bring in a center that's better than DeAndre Ayton / Jackson Hayes. That's just how the NBA works. You're not going to be able to randomly find a center for cheap money other than Walker Kessler, but the Jazz want 3 picks, and obviously he's out for the year. There's not a better center that they're going to get other than DeAndre Ayton / Jackson Hayes, which Hayes has been better than Ayton. No, Ayton was pretty good against Atlanta, so I'll give him credit there. DeAndre Ayton just needs to play good basketball, and they'll be kind of fine. Am I talking championship fine? Hell no. I'm talking, middling playoff team fine, I guess. Anyways, I'm going to go Rui Hachimura tonight over 7.5 points. We'll see how much Rui plays. So Rui returns against Atlanta, only plays 18 minutes. Not like the Lakers blew that team out. Well, they were up by 32 points at one point, and they led Atlanta back in the game. That lead got down to 11 at one point in the fourth quarter. Ultimately, the Lakers win at 141-116. Great victory for the team. And again, Ayton with 18 boards was massive. So DA had a really good game. I'll say that. 17-18 from Ayton. Phenomenal stuff. But Hachimura comes off the bench. They're still starting Marcus Smart. I know Smart played a little bit better. He played a lot better against the Hawks. I'm still sick of Marcus Smart. And I'm sick of Jake LaRavia, too, right now. Even though both those guys played much better in Atlanta than they did in Sacramento. Against Atlanta than they did against Sacramento. Whatever. Shout out to Kobe Buffkin, by the way. Made his debut on a 10-day contract with Los Angeles. He looked good. The 1 3-point shot he took. Anyways, I think Hachimura is still coming off the bench. I would still think it's a couple more games until Rui is back in the starting lineup. But obviously, he's better than Jake LaRavia. I like Jake, but Jake can be really helpful off the bench. As a starter, he's going to try. It's never going to be for a lack of effort from Jake the Snake LaRavia. But, yeah, I don't know. Not really a starting caliber player yet. He's still really young. Anyways, Hachimura off the bench should provide some scoring, and I think enough scoring. He just needs to get that 3-point ball down. We need to see multiple threes tonight out of Rui. He went 3 for 7 last game with 1 3 and 7 points. A lot of those, again, are just feeds underneath the hoop and the layup or, short dunk or short layup. We just need to see 2 threes tonight out of Rui, and then he'll find a way to get 1 midi shot or 1, lay-in. That's all we really need out of Hachimura. Don't forget, again, when he's healthy, he's a 13 points per game player. Obviously, dealt with that injury, just came back for the Atlanta game. Expect the minutes to continue to ramp up. Obviously, again, Rui Hachimura points will not sit at 7.5 for much longer. It's obviously just because of the minutes restriction and because of the injuries, why the line's where it's at. But expect Rui, again, to continue to get it going. Only 7 points against Atlanta is really not that big of a deal. It's first game back, only played 18 minutes. I'd expect about 20 to 25 minutes tonight against Charlotte. Not like Charlotte's the best defensive team. The Hornets have been on the road for quite a bit. Went to the Clippers, lost. Now they're in LA. They play the Clippers on Monday. They're playing the Lakers tonight. And they're going to San Francisco and Denver. They're not going to be done with this road trip until the 18th, which is on Sunday over in Mile High, Denver, Colorado. But I like Rui Hachimura to get his opportunities. It's a Charlotte team that sometimes loses corner shooters, and that's what Rui obviously is. We'll see again what happens tonight. Charlotte, again, fun, young, upstart team, but the Lakers should be able to dominate. Should's a big word in all of that. I think they're back on track, maybe. I don't know. They lost 3 straight games. I know we beat the Hawks, and now we're up again. But you know what? They were dogs against the Hawks, which I was really tempted to do money line on the channel, before the game started, but I couldn't because I just didn't know if Luka and LeBron were going to play. Even though I said on the channel, I thought both of them were going to play. There was a chance they didn't. So anyways, there was a chance it was just LeBron, no Luka. So regardless, I'm going to go Rui Hachimura. Again, LeBron and Luka, who are still two of the best passers in basketball. Obviously, we know Luka's a great passer. LeBron is still a very elite passer in the game as well. These facilitators, these playmakers are going to find Rui Hachimura open in the corner. Hopefully, again, Luka starts drawing doubles. LeBron maybe draws some doubles as well. And then that just leaves Rui for his shots. And ultimately, like when Rui does get going and then when the Lakers are at their best, yeah, that's why. Because Luka's playing so well, he forces the double. LeBron's playing well, he forces a lot of attention, and then just the focus goes away from Rui Hachimura. And right now, the focus is going away from Jake LaRavia, obviously. But LaRavia, he can get hot from 3, but Rui Hachimura is just a better player. So obviously, we need Rui to get going from beyond the arc and from the corner as well. We'll see how many minutes again he shares with both LeBron and Luka at the same time. But obviously, the Lakers don't go a minute without either LeBron or Luka on the court. So Rui's going to be playing with one of the two for the entire game. We should be fine. They should find Hachimura in spots. I'm going to go with Rui Hachimura to go over 7.5 points at home for the Lakers against the Charlotte Hornets. Folks, thank y'all for watching our NBA Best Bets here on January 15th. If you have not yet, though, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy the video. Make sure to comment if you did disagree with any of the picks. We'll be back tomorrow for more daily NBA Best Bets. Folks, thank y'all for watching, and Mamba forever.